Is government doing well in fighting corruption? A question we put to a few Ugandans, and their answers rhyme well with the 2019 and 2020 Afrobarometer survey.
If the government wants to fight corruption, let them punish the criminals.
The report indicates that 65% of Ugandans interviewed say corruption has increased. 84% think government is performing poorly in its fight against corruption, a figure that's gone up from 52% in 2005. 77% believe that citizens who report corruption to authorities risk retaliation and negative consequences. Police are perceived to be the most corrupt public officials, followed by civil servants, tax officials, magistrates and judges, among others. 68% think most or all police officers are corrupt. 30% said all officials in presidency office are corrupt. 11% cited traditional leaders, and 7% pointed out religious leaders. Asked about their experience among Ugandans who had contact with key public services during 2020, 75% say they had to pay a bribe to obtain police assistance, 42% paid to access medical services, and 40% paid to obtain a government document.
But if you talk to officials, government officials, they say, no, we are doing a lot. So there is a disconnect between what they are doing and what the public is seeing. So in order to marry the two and get the people to understand, get in sync of what they're doing, conversations, communications, but also to say some of these fights, some of these engagements in trying to limit the extent to which corruption can prevail and in some respects become a culture or a way of life, you automate so that the automation can help.
Perceptions and reality are two different things. So if people perceive government are not committed or not doing much to corruption, it doesn't necessarily mean that the government is not committed. It could be maybe we are not clearly articulating our interventions.
Compared to other East African countries, the report rated Uganda worst in fighting corruption and Tanzania best, with 83% of Tanzanians saying their government is performing fairly well or very well.
The pollsters described the findings in this report as worrying and detrimental to the economy. They recommend emphasis on public sensitization, dialogue, and reviewing the current strategies being used to fight the vice.
But Information Minister Chris Baryomunsi says dialogue is already provided.
But we can't sit with everybody. Uganda has over 40 million people. How can we sit with all the 40 million? We have institutions like Parliament, we have government bodies, we have district councils. Yes, and they have been actively doing their part. Now the challenge that we should intensify communication which reassures the public that if we report corruption, then nothing will happen to you.
Edward Muhumza, NTV.